Lieutenant Maya Tanaka had been staring at her quantum display for 16 straight hours when the signal first appeared. Most of her colleagues at JAXA's Deep Space Monitoring Station had dismissed the oscillating pattern as another quantum echo, but something about its regularity kept her attention fixed on the screen. "Have you seen anything like this before?" she asked, gesturing to Dr. Rodriguez-Martinez, who was passing by with his third cup of green tea. The senior scientist paused, squinting at the display through his wire-rimmed glasses. The steaming cup nearly slipped from his fingers as his eyes widened. "Run a cross-spectrum analysis," he ordered, setting down his tea. "Focus on the gamma-wave variations." His fingers flew across the haptic interface, bringing up archived data from previous deep space scans. The computers hummed as they processed the request. Maya watched as layers of data materialized in the holographic display, each showing a different aspect of the signal. What they saw next made them both step back from the console. The pattern wasn't random. It was a message. Within hours, the facility transformed into a hub of frantic activity. Scientists from every department crowded into the main observation room as Maya and Dr. Rodriguez-Martinez presented their findings. The signal contained complex mathematical sequences, far too ordered to be natural phenomena. "These are ship movements," Maya explained, highlighting specific sections of the data stream. "Each cluster represents a different class of vessel, and based on their trajectories." She paused, letting the implications sink in. "They're headed directly for Earth." The UN Security Council convened an emergency session 12 hours later. Maya found herself presenting to the most powerful people on Earth, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We estimate 3 days before they reach our solar system. The fleet size suggests this isn't a diplomatic mission." Defense ministers exchanged worried glances. The Chinese representative leaned forward. "Do we have any way to communicate with them?" "We've been broadcasting response signals on all frequencies," Dr. Rodriguez-Martinez replied. "They're receiving our transmissions but choosing not to respond." The room fell silent as tactical displays showed the approaching fleet's formation. It wasn't just a military formation. It was an invasion pattern. In the following 72 hours, humanity witnessed its first glimpse of the Craxian ships. They emerged from hyperspace beyond Mars' orbit, their hulls reflecting the distant sunlight in ways that defied Earth's understanding of metallurgy. The vessels were massive, sleek constructions that moved with impossible grace for their size. The first transmission arrived exactly 6 hours after their appearance. The message was clear, delivered in perfect English. "Your species has 24 hours to surrender control of your planet. Resistance will result in immediate planetary pacification." Maya worked with a team of linguists and cryptographers to analyze every nuance of the message. "They're overconfident," she noted, picking up subtle markers in their communication patterns. "They'd done this before, and they're expecting this to be routine." Dr. Rodriguez-Martinez agreed, pointing to the energy readings from their ships. "They're not even fully powered up. They don't consider us a threat." In the UN's underground bunker, world leaders debated their options. The Russian president argued for immediate military response, while the Japanese prime minister advocated for diplomatic engagement. It was the Brazilian representative who finally voiced what many were thinking. "They expect us to behave like all the other worlds they've conquered. Perhaps that's their weakness." The decision came down to the wire. With just 2 hours remaining in the Craxian ultimatum, humanity made its choice. The response was broadcast on all frequencies, a simple message encoded in both human languages, and the mathematical sequences they decoded from Craxian communications. "Humanity respectfully declines your offer. We suggest you reconsider your position." As Maya transmitted the message, she noticed something in the Craxian ship's energy signatures, a slight fluctuation that their arrogance had caused them to overlook. She quickly cross-referenced it with Earth's planetary defense capabilities, a smile forming on her face. The Craxians had made their first mistake. They had assumed Earth's magnetic field was a natural phenomenon, not realizing that humans had been quietly manipulating it for decades. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its weapons or technology, but in its ability to turn seemingly primitive conditions into unprecedented advantages. The first battle for Earth was about to begin, and humanity had no intention of making it easy for their would-be conquerors. Colonel Jin Ho Park stood in the command center of Project Starshield, watching as holographic displays tracked the Craxian fleet's positioning. Decades of secret international cooperation had led to this moment, and the aliens had no idea what awaited them. Magnetic field modulators at full capacity, reported Lieutenant Sofia Rodriguez from her station. All 37 ground arrays are synchronized and ready. The massive underground facility hummed with energy as power coursed through systems that had never been tested in actual combat. Park moved to the central platform, where a three-dimensional representation of Earth's magnetosphere shimmered in cool blue light. "Begin Sequence Alpha," he ordered. "Let's show them why fighting in our backyard was a poor decision." The first Craxian ship to enter the atmosphere encountered something unprecedented. Earth's magnetic field, imperceptible to their sensors as anything but a natural phenomenon, suddenly intensified around their vessel. Their shields flared brilliant purple, struggling against forces they weren't designed to repel. "They're responding exactly as predicted," Dr. Hiroshi Yamamoto announced, monitoring the alien ship's power fluctuations. "Their shield harmonics can't adapt to rapidly shifting magnetic fields." The Craxians, confident in their technological superiority, pushed forward. 3 more ships descended, their commanders believing that Earth's strange magnetic behavior was a natural anomaly. That's when Colonel Park initiated Phase 2. "Pulse arrays online," Sophia called out. Targeting solutions locked. The ground-based arrays, disguised as commercial satellite stations across the globe, activated simultaneously. Each one sent precisely calculated magnetic pulses into the atmosphere, creating a web of interacting fields that turned Earth's magnetosphere into a weapon. The alien ships found themselves caught in invisible currents of magnetic force. Their advanced navigation systems, designed to handle gravitational fields and energy weapons, couldn't compensate for the constant shifts in magnetic intensity. "We've got destabilization in their primary drive systems," Hiroshi reported, his fingers dancing across his console. "They're trying to boost power to their stabilizers, but it's not working." The Craxian response came swiftly. Energy beams lanced down from their ships, targeting what they assumed were Earth's defensive installations. But Project Starshield's true facilities lay hidden deep underground, protected by layers of metamaterials that absorbed and dispersed energy attacks. "Their targeting algorithms are confused by the magnetic interference," Park observed, watching as alien weapons fire missed their marks by kilometers. "Increase pulse frequency on arrays 7 through 12. The magnetic fields intensified, creating localized disruptions that the Craxian ships couldn't escape. One vessel, its systems overwhelmed, was forced to retreat to a higher orbit. The others struggled to maintain their positions, their once precise formation now ragged and uncertain. "Sir," Sophia called out, "we're detecting power surges in their shield generators. They're trying to adapt, but each adjustment makes them more vulnerable to our secondary frequencies." Colonel Park allowed himself a small smile. The aliens had expected to find a primitive planet with basic defenses. Instead, they'd flown straight into humanity's invisible web. Years of studying Earth's magnetic field had taught humans how to manipulate it in ways the Craxians had never considered possible. "Launch the orbital platforms," Park commanded. Hidden satellites, dormant until now, activated around the globe. These weren't weapons platforms as the Craxians would understand them. They were magnetic field amplifiers, designed to work in concert with the ground arrays. The effect was immediate and devastating. Caught between intensifying magnetic fields from above and below, the remaining Craxian ships found their advanced technology working against them. Their energy-based systems, sensitive to electromagnetic fluctuations, began to malfunction. "They're pulling back," Hiroshi announced triumphantly. "All remaining ships are retreating to safe orbital distance." But Colonel Park knew this was just the beginning. The Craxians would return, better prepared and more cautious. Yet they still wouldn't understand humanity's true advantage: the ability to turn the very forces of nature into defensive weapons. "Send the data to all command centers," he ordered. "Every nation needs to be ready for their next approach." He turned to face his team, their faces illuminated by the gleaming holographic displays. They thought they were invading a backwards planet. Now they'll learn that humanity's greatest weapons aren't the ones they can see. The magnetic fields continued their dance above, invisible but powerful, waiting for the next phase of a battle that would reshape humanity's place in the galaxy. Isabella Santos darted between server racks in the quantum computing facility, her mind racing faster than her feet. The Craxian neural networks had just made their first major mistake, and she intended to exploit it fully. "Look at this," she called to Dr. Hikaru Nakamura, who was calibrating the quantum interference arrays. The holographic display showed streams of alien code, beautiful in its complexity but flawed in a way that made Isabella's heart race. Their systems can't process binary. They developed quantum computing without ever going through a digital phase. Hikaru adjusted his glasses, studying the data stream. "You're saying their entire command structure is vulnerable to the most basic form of human computing," Isabella finished, her fingers flying across the haptic interface. "They built their house on quantum foundations without understanding the ground floor." The discovery spread through the facility like wildfire. Teams of programmers began adapting old-school binary attacks, wrapping them in quantum signatures that would slit past Craxian defenses. It was like hiding a Stone Age arrow inside a plasma beam. "First test deployment ready," announced Miguel Torres from the cybersecurity station. The young programmer had spent the last 12 hours converting vintage computer viruses into quantum-compatible code, targeting their secondary command ship. Isabella held her breath as they launched the attack. On the main screen, they watched as their hybrid code approached the Craxian vessel's defense systems. The alien quantum shields, designed to stop advanced hacking attempts, didn't even register the primitive binary threat hiding within. "We're in," Miguel shouted, his voice filled with disbelief. "Their targeting computers are accepting our commands." Hikaru was already coordinating with the Global Defense Network, his modified satellites providing real-time coverage of the entire battle space, redirecting their weapon systems now. "Let's see how they handle firing at their own shadows." The effect was immediate and spectacular. The Craxian ship's energy weapons activated, but instead of targeting Earth's defenses, they fired into empty space. Their advanced targeting systems, compromised by human binary code, saw phantom enemies everywhere. "They're trying to purge their systems," Isabella noted, watching the alien ship's desperate attempts to regain control. "But they can't find our code. They don't even know what to look for." In another part of the facility, Dr. Nakamura's satellite network was proving equally revolutionary. He had reprogrammed thousands of commercial satellites to create a detection grid that could track Craxian ship movements with unprecedented accuracy. "Their cloaking technology depends on quantum state manipulation," Hikaru explained to the command center. "But our traditional radio wave detection methods can spot the distortions they create in Earth's atmosphere." They never considered we'd use such basic technology. The aliens' response was predictable. They attempted to hack Earth's defense systems in return, but their quantum-based attacks found themselves tangled in layers of human digital evolution. Binary, hex, ASCII, and quantum computing all working together in ways the Craxians had never imagined possible. "They're trying to brute force our quantum firewalls," Miguel reported, "but they keep getting stuck in our binary subsystems. It's like they're tripping over our technological history." Isabella saw the bigger picture forming. Humanity's gradual technological evolution, which the Craxians had dismissed as primitive, was proving to be their greatest strength. Each layer of human computing development provided another obstacle that the aliens couldn't understand or overcome. "Launch the distributed attack," she commanded. Across the globe, dormant computer systems awakened. Everything from weather satellites to traffic control networks began transmitting carefully crafted binary signals, each carrying a fragment of their quantum hybrid code. The Craxian fleet's coordinated defense grid began to fail. Ship after ship lost control of its targeting systems, their quantum computers overwhelmed by the flood of unfamiliar digital information. "They're starting to power down their networks," Hikaru observed. "They're choosing to fly blind rather than risk more system compromises." Isabella allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The aliens had expected to find a technologically inferior species, but instead discovered that humanity's primitive digital foundation was the perfect weapon against their advanced quantum systems. "Send the analysis to all Earth defense stations," she instructed, "and get me a secure line to Colonel Park's magnetic defense team. I think we just found a way to make their day even worse." The quantum facility hummed with renewed energy as humanity prepared to teach the Craxians another lesson about underestimating Earth's technological heritage. Professor Luis Garcia's underground laboratory, buried deep beneath the Atacama Desert, buzzed with intense activity. The twisted piece of Craxian hull material hovering in the analysis chamber had finally revealed its secrets. The molecular structure shifts under specific frequencies, he explained to his international team. Holographic diagrams showed the alien metal's behavior as they bombarded it with various energy signatures. Their shields aren't just energy fields, they're extensions of their hull technology. Dr. Mei Lin, the team's materials specialist, adjusted the scanning parameters. "Look at this resonance pattern," she pointed to a fluctuating graph. "The metal becomes briefly unstable when exposed to particular sonic frequencies." The team had been studying debris from a crashed Craxian scout ship for the past 72 hours straight. What they discovered would change the course of the invasion. The aliens' supposedly impenetrable shields had a fundamental weakness, one rooted in basic physics. Their entire defensive system depends on quantum stability, Lewis explained, his eyes bright with revelation. But they never considered defending against simple kinetic impacts combined with specific sound waves. In the adjacent weapons lab, Dr. Kenji Tanaka was already modifying conventional ammunition. "We're coating the rounds with a composite that matches the resonance frequency," he reported. "Initial tests show promising results." The first test firing proved their theory. A modified bullet, synchronized with a precisely tuned sonic pulse, passed straight through a sample of Craxian hull material. The alien metal, momentarily destabilized by the sonic frequency, couldn't maintain its molecular cohesion. "Begin mass production immediately," Lewis ordered. "Every conventional weapon on Earth needs to be upgraded with these specifications." He turned to Dr. Rajesh Patel, their quantum communications expert. "Get this data to every military facility still standing. Priority level maximum." The underground facility transformed into a production center. Scientists worked alongside military personnel, modifying everything from rifle ammunition to artillery shells. Each projectile was carefully tuned to exploit the Craxian shield's weakness. "We've got incoming." The alert blared through the facility. A Craxian strike force had detected their power signature and was moving to eliminate the threat. They had no way of knowing they were about to test humanity's new defense capabilities. "All research teams to secure stations," Lewis commanded. "Weapons teams to defensive positions. Let's show them what we've learned." The first Craxian energy blast hit the mountain above them, vaporizing tons of rock. They expected to find a crippled facility, but Lewis's team had prepared for this moment. The laboratory's defensive systems, upgraded with their recent discoveries, activated. Modified surface-to-air missiles launched from hidden silos. The Craxian ships, confident in their shields, made no attempt to evade. That confidence proved fatal. The missiles, pulsing with precise sonic frequencies, struck their targets. Alien hull material destabilized, allowing the kinetic force to tear through their previously impervious defenses. "Direct hits confirmed," Kenji announced, monitoring the sensor feeds. "Their shields are failing exactly as predicted." The Craxians, stunned by the effectiveness of such primitive weapons, attempted to adjust their shield frequencies. But Lewis's team had anticipated this response. Their sonic emitters automatically adjusted, maintaining the destabilizing effect. "We're picking up similar reports worldwide," Rajesh called out. "Military forces are successfully engaging Craxian ships with the modified weapons. Their defensive advantage is gone." In the analysis chamber, May continued studying the alien metal, looking for more weaknesses to exploit. "Each shield failure teaches us more about their technology," she noted. "They're not used to adapting during battle. Their overconfidence is working against them." Lewis watched as another Craxian ship retreated, its hull breached by weapons that shouldn't have been able to touch it. The aliens had believed their technology was insurmountable, never considering that a less advanced civilization might find a way to turn basic physics against them. "Prepare the next phase of modifications," he instructed his team. "They'll try to adapt to these attacks, but we'll be ready with something new." He smiled at the irony. Humanity's greatest advantage was its experience in fighting uphill battles. The underground laboratory continued its work, transforming humanity's existing weapons into tools that could challenge the galaxy's most advanced technology. The Craxians were about to learn another harsh lesson about underestimating human ingenuity. Captain Mai Chen watched from the bridge of the ESS Dauntless as her crew prepared for the most daring space maneuver in human history. The converted orbital defense platform, hastily retrofitted with reverse-engineered Craxian tech, hung in low Earth orbit like a predator waiting to strike. "Gravitational mapping complete," announced Lieutenant Fernando Santos from the navigation station. "The Craxians are maintaining standard attack formation. They still haven't figured out why their last 3 attacks failed." Mai smiled, studying the tactical display. The aliens' rigid combat doctrine was becoming their greatest weakness. "Begin slingshot protocol. Let's remind them why fighting near a planet requires more than just advanced technology." The Dauntless powered down its main systems, appearing dead in space. Above them, 5 Craxian cruisers moved into attack position, their energy weapons charging. They expected another straightforward space battle. They were about to experience something very different. Initial descent burn in 3, 2, 1. Fernando's fingers danced across his console. The Dauntless dropped like a stone, plunging into Earth's upper atmosphere. The Craxian ships followed, exactly as predicted. "They're pursuing on the calculated vector," reported Dr. Yuki Sato, their physics specialist. "Atmospheric drag affecting their ships exactly as modeled. Their hull design isn't optimized for this environment." The Dauntless's hull glowed red as it carved through the thickening atmosphere. The human vessel, designed with atmospheric flight in mind, maintained perfect control. Behind them, the Craxian ships struggled with the unfamiliar aerodynamic forces. "Execute pattern Sierra," Mai commanded. The Dauntless banked hard, using Earth's atmosphere like a fluid medium. The alien vessels, attempting to match their maneuver, found their energy shields straining against forces they were never designed to handle. "First target losing containment," Yuki called out. "Their shield geometry can't compensate for atmospheric friction at these velocities." The lead Craxian ship shields flared brilliantly before failing completely. The vessel pulled up sharply, retreating to the safety of space. 2 more followed, their advanced technology proving inadequate for atmospheric combat. "Beginning Phase 2, Mai announced. "All hands, prepare for gravitational slingshot." The Dauntless pulled up sharply, riding the atmosphere like a ramp. Their trajectory, carefully calculated by Fernando, would take them around Earth's curvature at precisely the right angle. The remaining Craxian ships followed, not understanding the trap they were entering. "Gravitational assist in 3, 2, 1. The Dauntless suddenly accelerated, using Earth's gravity well to sling itself into a higher orbit. The maneuver, common in human spaceflight, but foreign to the Craxians, caught them completely off guard. "Their ships are overshooting," Yuki reported excitedly. "They can't compensate for the gravitational effects fast enough." The alien vessels, their advanced engines working against them, shot past their intended positions. The Dauntless was already pivoting, bringing its weapons to bear on the now exposed weak points in their hull design. All batteries, fire on designated targets, May ordered. The Dauntless's guns, loaded with the specially modified ammunition from Professor Garcia's team, struck true. Craxian hull plating, already stressed from atmospheric friction, gave way under the assault. Direct hits confirmed, Fernando announced. Both remaining enemy vessels are retreating to high orbit. Mai watched as the Craxian ships flood, their once perfect formation now ragged and desperate. Her crew's cheers filled the bridge, but she kept her focus on the tactical display. This was just one victory in a longer battle. Transmit combat data to all Earth defense forces, she instructed. The slingshot protocol is no longer theoretical, it's proven combat doctrine. The Dauntless moved into a holding orbit, its crew already preparing for the next engagement. May knew the Craxians would return, probably with countermeasures against their tactics. But that was the beauty of the slingshot protocol. It used the fundamental physics of spaceflight, something that couldn't be countered with just technology. Update incoming from command. Fernando reported. 6 more Earth ships are ready for slingshot training. They're requesting we lead the instruction. May nodded, pride filling her chest. Humanity was learning to turn its greatest disadvantage, its relative technological backwardness, into an unprecedented tactical advantage. The Craxians were about to discover that space combat required more than just advanced weapons and shields. It required imagination, adaptability, and an intimate understanding of the natural forces that shape the battlefield. In these areas, humanity was proving to be the superior species. Dr. Yuki Yamamoto leaned back from his quantum spectrograph, his eyes wide with realization. The Craxian battle communications, which had baffled Earth's best codebreakers for days, weren't just transmissions. They were songs. Listen to this, he called to his research partner, Dr. Elena Rodriguez. He adjusted the frequency modulation, transforming the alien signals into audible patterns. The laboratory filled with haunting harmonies, complex and beautiful. It's not just music, Elena observed, marking patterns in the wavelength display. The harmonics correspond to tactical movements. Each melody is a different combat formation. Her background in musical theory was proving unexpectedly crucial to Earth's defense. The discovery revolutionized their understanding of Craxian warfare. Every ship movement, every attack pattern, was encoded in musical phrases. The aliens had evolved their entire combat doctrine around harmonic mathematics. They're using quantum resonance patterns, Yuki explained to the assembled Defense Council via holographic link. But the underlying structure follows universal musical rules. We can predict their attacks by analyzing the melodic progressions. Lieutenant Ming Chen, their tactical analyst, was already feeding the patterns into prediction algorithms. Each chord progression represents a different attack vector, she reported. Major keys for offensive movements, minor for defensive formations. The first real test came during the Craxians' next coordinated assault. As their fleet approached Earth's defense perimeter, Yuki's team began intercepting their battle songs. Multiple harmonies detected, Elena announced, her hands moving across the acoustic interface. They're preparing the 3-pronged attack. The melody suggests they'll focus on our southern orbital defense grid. The prediction proved perfect. Earth's defenders, forewarned by the musical analysis, were ready when the Craxian ships arrived. The aliens found their carefully orchestrated attack met by precisely positioned counterforces. They're modulating to a different key, Ming observed during the battle, shifting to what sounds like a defensive pattern. They don't understand how we're anticipating their moves. Yuki watched as the musical patterns shifted and evolved. The Craxians, realizing their tactical communications were compromised, attempted to change their harmonic protocols. But music, it seemed, followed universal rules that transcended species. They can't completely abandon their musical base code, he explained to Elena as they tracked the changes. It's too deeply embedded in their combat systems. Every modification still follows basic harmonic principles. The breakthrough led to more than just tactical advantages. By studying the Craxian battle songs, Earth's scientists began to understand the fundamental mathematics behind their technology. Their shield frequencies are tied to specific harmonic ratios. Elena discovered, correlating musical patterns with defensive systems, we can disrupt their protection by broadcasting counter-harmonies. The revelation spread across Earth's defense network. Military bases began equipping ships with acoustic disruption systems, using music as a weapon against the galaxy's most advanced civilization. Incoming transmission, Ming called out. Large fleet movement, but the melody, something's different. She isolated the signal, letting its strange harmony fill the laboratory. Yuki studied the pattern intensely. They're trying to mask their movements with discordant sounds, he realized. But even chaos follows patterns. Look at the underlying rhythm structure. Elena was already mapping the chaotic harmonies. The dissonance actually makes it easier to predict, she noted. They're so used to perfect mathematical harmony that their attempts at randomness are obvious patterns. The Craxian fleet, attempting to hide their movements in musical chaos, found their tactical surprise completely undone. Earth's defenders, guided by Yuki's musical analysis, met them at every turn. Send this data to Captain Chen's fleet, Yuki instructed. The slingshot protocol will be even more effective when they can anticipate enemy movements through their battle songs. As the battle raged above, the laboratory continued its work, transforming alien music into tactical intelligence. The Craxians had created a perfect system, but its very perfection made it predictable to those who understood music's universal language. They thought their mathematical harmonies were unbreakable. Elena mused, watching as another Craxian attack faltered against prepared defenses. They never considered that humans would understand their music better than they do. Yuki nodded, already analyzing the next set of battle songs. The aliens were about to learn that humanity's artistic understanding could be just as powerful as their technological achievements. Sometimes, the key to victory lay not in the mathematics of war, but in its music. Engineer Marco Silva stood before the massive particle accelerator complex, watching as technicians modified the superconducting magnets. The Large Hadron Collider, once dedicated to pure research, was about to become Earth's most powerful defensive weapon. Final calibrations complete, reported Dr. Sakura Tanaka, her hands moving deftly across the quantum interface. The magnetic resonance fields are aligned with the theoretical models. We can create a disruption zone reaching out to lunar orbit. Marco nodded, reviewing the simulations one last time. Their discovery about Craxian faster-than-light drives had been accidental, a side effect noticed during a routine experiment. Now it was humanity's newest advantage. Begin power-up sequence, he commanded. The facility hummed to life, decades of human scientific achievement channeling into a single purpose. Initiating particle stream in 3, 2, 1. The accelerator rings pulsed with brilliant blue energy. Above them, sensors tracked a squadron of Craxian ships attempting to make a faster-than-light jump into Earth's atmosphere. They were about to discover the fatal flaw in their advanced propulsion systems. Disruption field at 20%, Sakura called out. Particle stream stable. Creating quantum interference pattern now. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The Craxian ships, attempting to activate their FTL drives, suddenly found themselves trapped in normal space. Their quantum field generators, the heart of their faster-than-light technology, couldn't maintain coherence in the artificially disrupted spacetime. Multiple ships reporting drive failures, announced Lieutenant Carlos Mendoza from the tactical station. They're reverting to conventional propulsion. The disruption field is working exactly as predicted. Marco allowed himself a small smile. The aliens had never considered that a primitive particle accelerator could be modified to interfere with their quantum drive systems. Their technological arrogance had become their weakness. Expanding field coverage, Sakura reported. Linking with the European accelerator network now. Across the globe, other research facilities brought their accelerators online, each contributing to the growing disruption zone. The Crexian fleet, suddenly stripped of their greatest technological advantage, found themselves forced to fight in normal space. Their ships, designed around the assumption of FTL capability, struggled to maneuver effectively. "They're trying to modify their quantum field harmonics," Carlos observed, studying the sensor readings. "But they can't match our particle stream variations. Every adjustment they make, we can counter." Marco moved to the main control platform, where a holographic display showed the expanding network of disruption fields. Each particle accelerator facility created its own zone of quantum interference, the fields overlapping and reinforcing each other. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. The accelerators shifted frequencies, their particle streams now targeting specific weaknesses in Crexian shield technology. The disruption field wasn't just preventing FTL travel, it was actively degrading their defensive systems. "Shield failures detected in multiple enemy vessels," Sakura announced triumphantly. "Their quantum field generators can't maintain stability under these conditions." The Crexian response was predictable. They attempted to destroy the surface facilities generating the disruption field. But years of scientific research had taught humans the value of redundancy and protection. "Their energy weapons are being scattered by the particle streams," Carlos reported. "The accelerator shielding is holding. They can't get a clean shot through the quantum interference." Marco watched as more Earth facilities came online. The Chinese Super Collider added its power to the network, followed by facilities in Japan, Russia, and Brazil. Each one expanded the disruption zone, trapping more Crexian ships in normal space. "We've achieved complete coverage of Earth orbit," Sakura confirmed. "No FTL signatures detected within the defensive perimeter. They're completely cut off from their reinforcements." The tactical implications were enormous. The Crexians, unable to use their advanced drive systems, were forced to fight on humanity's terms. Their sophisticated technology, developed around the assumption of FTL capability, was proving inadequate for conventional space combat. "Send the status update to Admiral Patel," Marco instructed. "Operation Starhammer can proceed as planned. The Crexians won't be able to escape when we spring the final trap." The particle accelerator complex continued its work, its invisible field reaching out into space like an unbreakable net. Humanity had turned its scientific infrastructure into a weapon that the galaxy's most advanced civilization never saw coming. And in the control room, Marco Silva prepared for the next phase of the battle, knowing that sometimes the best weapons were the ones that didn't look like weapons at all. Admiral Rin Patel stood on the bridge of the EFS Challenger, watching as Operation Starhammer's pieces fell into place. Every discovery, every innovation humanity had developed during the invasion, was about to be combined into a single devastating strategy. "Magnetic defense grid at full power," reported Commander Lena Martinez. "Colonel Park's teams have created overlapping fields covering all approach vectors. The Crexians won't be able to move without fighting Earth's magnetosphere." The tactical display showed hundreds of enemy ships trapped in normal space, their FTL drives rendered useless by Marco Silva's particle accelerator network. They were about to learn the true cost of underestimating humanity. "Begin Phase 1, Rin commanded. The first layer of Earth's defense, activated as Isabella Santos' hybrid computer viruses, infiltrated Crexian systems. Their quantum computers, unable to process simple binary attacks, began to fail across the fleet. Multiple ships reporting control system failures, Lena announced. Their targeting computers are offline. Shield generators are destabilizing. The aliens' advanced technology, their greatest pride, was being undone by humanity's digital evolution. Professor Garcia's modified weapons launched from defense platforms worldwide. Each projectile, synchronized with precise sonic frequencies, passed through the weakened Crexian shields like they didn't exist. Direct hits confirmed on 37 enemy vessels, called out Lieutenant Hiroshi Tanaka. Their hull integrity is failing. They're trying to retreat, but the magnetic fields are disrupting their navigation systems. Ren watched as Captain Mai Chen's fleet executed perfectly timed slingshot maneuvers, using Earth's gravity and atmosphere in ways the Craxians couldn't counter. The alien ships, stripped of their technological advantages, found themselves outmaneuvered by pilots who had trained their entire lives to fight in natural space. Dr. Yamamoto's team is tracking their battle communications, Lena reported. Their harmonic patterns indicate they're preparing for a mass retreat. The musical analysis of Craxian tactics had proven invaluable, letting Earth's defenders anticipate every move. But the Craxians had nowhere to run. The particle accelerator network had created a sphere of disrupted spacetime around Earth, trapping them in conventional space. Their sophisticated drives, useless in the quantum interference field, couldn't save them. Launch final assault wave, Rin ordered. Earth's combined fleet moved in perfect coordination, applying every lesson learned during the invasion. Magnetic fields herded enemy ships into kill zones. Binary viruses disabled their defenses. Sonic-modified weapons pierced their hulls. "We're receiving surrender signals," Hiroshi announced, his voice tight with emotion. Multiple Craxian vessels are powering down their weapons. Their fleet commander is requesting terms. The bridge crew held their breath as Rin considered the situation. Humanity had not just defeated the invaders, they had revolutionized warfare itself, combining primitive and advanced technology in ways the galaxy had never seen. "Open a channel to their command ship," she instructed. The holographic display showed the Craxian commander, his alien features unable to hide his shock at being defeated by a primitive species. "These are our terms," Rin stated firmly. "You will acknowledge Earth as a sovereign power. You will share your technological database as reparation for your unprovoked attack. And you will carry a message to every spacefaring civilization. Humanity is not to be underestimated." The Craxian commander, his fleet in ruins around him, had no choice but to accept. As the surrender signals spread through the enemy fleet, Earth's defenders maintained their positions, ready for any final deception. "Begin recovery operations," Rin ordered. "I want every damaged Craxian ship studied. Their technology is now part of humanity's heritage, bought and paid for with our courage and innovation." As the battle ended, the true magnitude of humanity's achievement became clear. They had not just defeated an advanced alien invasion. They had proven that true strength lay not in technological superiority, but in the ability to adapt, innovate, and combine different approaches in unexpected ways. "Send word to all Earth defense stations," Rin commanded. "The immediate threat is over, but our work is just beginning. Humanity is now a recognized power in the galaxy. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." The stars seemed brighter somehow as the Challenger maintained its watch over Earth. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger, proving that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe wasn't advanced technology, but the innovative spirit that drove a species to reach for the stars.